Well, good morning there, old and new friends. It is December 28th. We are checking out today and heading home. We are taking a later flight though, so we're still going to have a little bit of the time in the parks. We're headed over to Hollywood Studios. I was able to grab a lightning lane for Rise of the Resistance, and I was also able to grab a Genie Plus lightning lane for Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railway. So we're going to get to ride that one more time before we head out as well. Wanted to kind of touch base with you guys last night. We had dinner at Steakhouse 71. I have to say I wasn't that impressed with the food. You know, initially when I tried the pork chop, it tasted, you know, fine, but then as I began to kind of cut further into it, it was raw on the inside. So I do want to shout out the cast members. The waitress and the manager of the restaurant were super nice, and sorry guys, there was some bird flying around. They were super nice and super helpful, and you know, they paid for the meal, and you know, took care of everything for us and brought us out a brand new meal and everything like that. But I have to say, I feel like a lot of people have kind of talked up Steakhouse 71 and, like, you know, made it seem like it was a really, really like amazing restaurant. And I have to say, personally, I would pick another place. If you're thinking about, you know, if you're coming down here soon and you're trying to figure out which restaurants you want to try. We were never able to snag a reservation for Space 220, which is another new restaurant here. But I would say, I personally wouldn't recommend it unless, you know, I have to say I didn't get the steak. So maybe for those of you out there that actually get a steak, the steak is really good. The crab cakes were really good, and I would, if I ever ate there again, I would have the crab cakes again. But I would say, you know, maybe eating there for lunch is a little bit better than the dinner menu. The lunch menu has a little bit more, like a chicken sandwich, a grilled cheese sandwich, crab cake sliders, and things like that. But the pork chop definitely left more to be desired. And that was a little disappointing, just because I felt like, you know, with it being a steakhouse, that would have been, you know, like spot on. But I do want to say though that the cast members have been, you know, on this trip have just been amazing and super helpful and super nice. And like I said, the waitress handled it really well, and so did the manager. So thank you to them. But just as kind of I wanted to follow up from last night because I didn't want you guys to kind of leave that and think, oh, well, I want to rush over and try that restaurant because, you know, she said it was good. I just wanted to let you guys know kind of what it was really like. And then I did want to also follow up from the cookie stroll. So we did the cookie stroll around Epcot yesterday. I have to be honest, the cookies weren't really that good as far as taste. The best cookie was the crinkle cookie from Germany. That was the powdered sugar shortbread with the jam in the middle, and the American Pavilion, the Dove chocolate cookie. Those two were very soft, very flavorful, but all of the other cookies, to be honest with you guys, I wasn't feeling it. They were either dry or they just didn't have a lot of flavoring to them. So I always say to each his own, you know, maybe palates are different. But once again, I kind of felt like a lot of people talked up the cookie stroll, and kind of talked about how really fantastic it was and how amazing the cookies were. And I wasn't that impressed. So just keep that in mind. You know, you can get the sundae at the end of the stroll that comes in the souvenir cup, the chocolate peppermint sundae. You can get that and just purchase that. And I feel like if I had known that, I probably would have skipped on the cookies and I would have just bought the cup with the sundae so I could keep the cup. But just keep that in mind, you know, if you're planning on coming here, you know, soon or next year. You may want to think about whether or not you want to do the cookie stroll or not. I honestly think the money that you pay for the cookie stroll, you could actually use it instead to pay for some of the other items within the festival. I tried the pumpkin cheesecake in addition to the cookies just because I was kind of getting cookied out, and the cheesecake was fantastic. It was delicious pumpkin cheesecake, the crunchy pumpkin seeds on top. It was amazing. So I have to say, I at the end of the cookie straw, I was regretting that I didn't use that money instead towards just buying things from the festival. Now, be it said, the cookies were pretty cheap. I think each cookie was around $2.50, so it's not like I wasted like a ton of money, but would I do the cookie stroll again? No. I want to let you guys know kind of thoughts on Genie Plus. We've used Genie Plus every day this trip except for one, and we've also used the individual lightning lanes. We purchased the Rise of the Resistance twice. I would say honestly the Genie Plus has been super helpful with making sure that we're able to ride certain rides that are on our must-do list. It does become a little bit challenging in that depending upon when you book your experience, you have to wait 2 hours before you can book the next one, or 2 hours from when the park opens if it's later in the day. So sometimes that's been a little frustrating for certain rides that are really popular, because your return time may be like 12 or 1, but then you're not able to make another Genie Plus reservation until 2 hours from the park opening. So if the park opens at 9 and your first Genie Plus is until 1, then you have to wait till 11 to book your next one. And then sometimes that can push things out later and later. So that's kind of the only con that we've kind of encountered kind of when we're trying to hit those heavy hitter rides. But overall, it has been really helpful with making sure that we're able to get done the things we want to get done in a day. So for example, when we were at Epcot yesterday, we used Genie Plus for Spaceship Earth and Frozen. Frozen yesterday got up to a 2-hour wait, and Spaceship Earth was 45 minutes. And I love both of those rides. Spaceship Earth is one of my favorites, but I'm not waiting an hour, almost an hour for Spaceship Earth, and I'm definitely not waiting 2 hours for Frozen. So having Genie Plus really did help with that, but we also got to the parks really early, and so we were able to just do Test Track and Soarin' when we got there. Test Track was like a 10-minute wait when we got there, and Soarin' was a 15-minute wait. So what really has helped us is a combination, so getting to the parks early and using Genie Plus. I would be interested to see what happens if you go to the parks at opening or a little bit later and try to use Genie Plus and see what happens there. And I did want to let you guys know, if you purchase Genie Plus, you can use it at any park. So yesterday we were at Epcot. We ended up going over to the Magic Kingdom. We didn't actually go in the park. We were just kind of going from resort to resort. And when we were at the Magic Kingdom, I did open up the My Disney app, and I tried to get Genie Plus, and I could. It said I could book reservations at Magic Kingdom even though I'd already booked reservations at Epcot. So just so you know, you absolutely can do that, and keep that in mind, especially if you want to park hop. This is the current line on the left for Rise of the Resistance. I believe when I checked this morning, the wait time was up to 2 hours, but I'll check in a few minutes and give you guys an update of what you can expect for the standby line.
A covert resistance team led by my friend Finn has infiltrated a First Order Star Destroyer that is now headed to this system. Your outpost on Batu is no longer safe.
Initiate pre-flight sequence on Deck 3 for Picard.
Yes, check the hyperdrive also.
Transport takeoff in 20 seconds.
Good. Airspeed sensor.
141. You're being detained under suspicion of treason and espionage. Disembark now and report to the detention block.
stop your meager resistance. You chose the wrong side.
You're lucky it didn't spot you. Take those turbo lifts and stay out of trouble.
Hey, you're not authorized. Wait, those are the prisoners.
Stop! The prisoners have escaped!
How brave, but ultimately hopeless.
There's nowhere to run.
That concludes my guided
What else is in there?
This is chicken stir fry. It's vegetables with teriyaki sauce and then grilled chicken. And they serve it in kind of like a little bento box. Alright, let's try the noodles. Has really good. The teriyaki sauce is sweet. It's a little salty, but then you also have these nice vegetables in here too. This is really good. I am very impressed. This is the pulled pork nachos from Captain Cook's. It's topped with pulled pork, salsa with pineapple, chipotle mayo, queso, and house-made chips. Got a little bit of everything here. Highly recommend this. I get this every time I come to the Polynesian. The pulled pork is sweet, but then you have that spiciness from the chipotle mayo, and then you have the freshness of the pineapple, and of course the cheese. Very, very good, very filling, definitely shareable. You could eat this as a meal or use it as an appetizer. The last Dole Whip of the trip. Oh, so sad. So we're on our way back to the Magic Kingdom. We're going to make a quick stop at the Grand Floridian and take a look inside the gift shop, and then ride our last attractions. Weren't allowed to do that. Look up there.
They look really high.
I wonder if they can tell. Probably not what it is, right?
No.
Thanks to progress, we've got a pump right here in the kitchen. Of course, we keep a bucket of water handy to prime it with. Yes, sir. We've got everything we need to make life easier. Say, Mother. And thanks to our automatic dishwasher, I don't have to dry the dishes anymore after supper. Gives Rover and me more time to enjoy our evening stroll together.
Oh, here it comes. Oh, you missed him.
Well, you can't quite do that. But I'll show you something you can do. Tree lights 30% brighter.
To 375.
Temperature increased to 375.
Look at that. It even.
But hey, as long as we're all here and happy and together for the holidays, who cares if I burned our Christmas turkey?
I do. I'm starving.
Don't worry, Dad.
And as that sunset is setting off in the distance over there, it is the end of our Disney vacation trip. We had such an amazing time. I want to thank you guys for joining us, and I hope that you were able to feel like you were with us and have Christmas at Disney. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date. We'll be uploading more clips and more footage from our trip. But thank you guys for joining us for this vlog series. Wishing you and your family a very, very merry and blessed 2022. Bye.